Move it, old man. This line is for travelers, not retirement home tourists. Officer Blake barked loudly across the airport's security checkpoint, making sure everyone heard him. Laughter broke out instantly from the other airport police standing nearby. An old man struggling to lift his suitcase onto the inspection table became their entertainment. You need help, Grandpa, or should we call the medical team so you don't break a bone lifting a bag? Another officer mocked. Passers-by watched but pretended not to. Nobody wanted to interfere with airport cops. The old man, grey hair, worn jacket, faint beard, slow-limped, didn't answer. His hands shook a little as he raised the suitcase, not from weakness but from the weight of memories nobody could see. He whispered softly, "I'll be fast. I'm sorry for slowing you down." The apology only fueled their humiliation. "Oh look, he's apologizing. Someone give him a sticker," Blake snorted. The officers laughed again, feeding off each other like hyenas around prey. His name was Elias Gray. 70, quiet, invisible. He never looked angry, never talked back, never demanded anything. His luggage was small: 3 shirts, a notebook, a photograph, and a metallic box wrapped in cloth. Nothing else. But the officers treated him like a joke, a slow and fragile hassle that didn't belong among busy, important people. "Maybe check his diaper next, Blake," one shouted across the scanners. A few passengers chuckled nervously but kept their eyes down, embarrassed to be entertained, yet afraid to say anything. Elias took each insult silently, eyes lowered, shoulders low, as if shrinking into himself so no one would notice him. Then the scanner alarm went. OFF, a loud metallic siren, triggered the perfect opportunity for more mockery. "Oh ho, Grandpa brought something dangerous," Blake laughed. They ripped the suitcase open as if expecting explosives, but instead found only clothes and a neatly folded cloth bundle. They tore it unwrapped carelessly. A silver badge rolled out, old and scarred with age, engraved with unfamiliar markings. Next was an ID card yellowed, edges frayed. Finally, a small photograph of soldiers in foreign terrain, their uniforms dusty, their eyes hardened by war. The officers erupted. "What is this?" "A cosplay medal. Grandpa thinks he's a commando." Blake tossed the ID onto the table like trash. Elias tried to reach for his belongings, and Blake slapped his hand away again. His voice was sharp and proud. "Stand still. We aren't done humiliating you yet." The other officers laughed. Some travelers watched in disgust, others in curiosity, but nobody stepped forward. That badge wasn't a souvenir. It was the burial marker of memories that should have been honored rather than mocked. They called Airport Police Chief Darian Rourke, expecting praise for catching a suspicious man. They didn't call him out of caution, they called him to show off. When Chief Rourke arrived, the entire checkpoint stiffened. He carried authority like armor. "Explain," he ordered. Blake grinned and gestured at the badge. Old guy triggered the alarm. Instead of weapons, he brought fake decorated junk, trying to play soldier. "We're thinking maybe he's mentally unstable." The chief didn't respond. He stared at the badge as if he were looking at a ghost. Slowly, he lifted it with both hands. His throat tightened when he read the engraving. His expression normally carved from a breath caught painfully in his chest. "Silver Shield Unit Badge, no." "01, Elias Gratchif Rourke dropped. To one Ninot, from weakness, but from the weight of recognition. He whispered, barely audible. "It's you. It's really you." The airport fell silent. Even the machines seemed to stop humming. Officer Blake looked around in confusion. "Chief, you can't be serious, he's just some old man." Rourke rose to his feet, jaw clenched. "Old man." His voice thundered across the room. "This man led the Silver Shield rescue mission. The mission that saved my life. And hundreds of others. The world never learned because the government buried it under classified files. Everyone thinks that entire division died, but they didn't. One of them survived. Him." People froze. Phones stopped mid-air. Some passengers covered their mouths in shock. The officers who mocked Elias grew pale, their laughter turning into horror. Rourke stepped back, stood at full attention, and saluted. The salute wasn't casual. It was sharp, respectful, military. The entire airport stopped breathing. Elias's eyes shimmered with emotions he hid for decades. Not pride, not revenge, not satisfaction, memory. Memory of those who didn't get to grow old, Blake whispered, shaking. Chief. We didn't know. You didn't need to know, Rourke replied. You should treat every person with dignity before you learn their story. The chief turned to Elias, voice trembling like a man trying not to cry. Sir, I am sorry for what my officers did. On behalf of every uniform that owes you their service. We failed you. Elias spoke softly. No, Chief, the failure is when we only respect uniforms, not the humans inside them. His words hit harder than any punishment. Rourke snapped into command mode. All airport security officers formation. Uniforms jostled into line instantly. Travelers cleared the area instinctively. Blake and the others who mocked Elias stood stiffly, eyes fixed forward, shame burning through their faces. Rourke shouted, "Present arms!" Dozens of hands shot up into a salute, not out of routine, but reverence. Elias didn't raise his head proudly. He bowed it, whispering names under his breath, names of brothers in arms who never came home. He wasn't accepting the salute for himself. He was accepting it for them. When the salute ended, the chief knelt again and gathered Elias's belongings, gently, piece by piece. He wrapped the badge with care, just like Elias had. Then, without hesitation, he lifted the suitcase and said, "Sir, let me escort you personally." Travelers stepped aside to make room. Children stared in awe. Even strangers who didn't know anything bowed their heads. As they reached the boarding gate, Rourke paused. "Sir, one question. Why hide for so long?" Elias looked out the large window at the runway, eyes misted but calm. Because recognition isn't the same as peace. Sometimes, the only reward a soldier needs is to live long enough to remember what his brothers never could. The chief swallowed hard, unable to speak. Elias turned to him with a gentle smile. "Take care of this place. Not because of me, but because every life here matters." Rourke nodded like a student receiving a final lesson. When Elias boarded the plane, every officer on the terminal lined up again, saluting until the aircraft door closed. No one dared lower their hand first. Officer Blake stood frozen, guilt carved into his face. The man he mocked, the frail elder he insulted, was the kind of hero Blake pretended to be. That lesson would crush and rebuild him for the rest of his life. When the plane began taxiing, the chief whispered under his breath, "Thank you for saving us then, and for teaching us now." And from that day on, no one ever mocked a quiet old man walking alone through an airport again.